He took off his pants, and I wanted to scream. "Cassidy, look what you did to my dick," Brian whispered, with the deep sadness of a little boy whose favorite G.I. Joes had been melted in the sun. I thought his penis was so beautiful when I first saw it. Tall and thick and so hard. All because of me. But now, after what I'd done to him without even knowing, now it looked like something out of a Japanese horror movie. Red and battered and so sensitive, he walked like a saddle score cowboy and grimaced with every step. This beautiful man was in agony, and it was all my fault. "Just a hand job, mister," I meowed coyly as I pulled off his pants an hour before the perfect ending to a perfect first date. "Just a hand job," he agreed with a smile that made me feel so safe and respected, like maybe, just maybe, he could finally be the one. I wouldn't sleep with him no matter how much I wanted to, not on our first date. I liked him too much to risk him thinking I was easy or some slut. But I knew I could make him feel so good. I knew I could make him like me. I knew I could make him need to see me again. After all my ex-boyfriends had always told me that I gave great hand jobs. And back then, I had no idea how often men lie about that, or why they feel like they have to. I took a deep breath, raked my fingers through his amazing chest hair, grasped him in my small hands the way I knew my ex loved. I imagined the incredible pleasure I was giving this powerful, masculine man. I imagined I was making him fall in love with me, how he would never let any other girl touch his cucumber again. I sped up, reveling in the power. I felt his stomach tense, his strong jaw clenched tight, his eyes screwed shut like he was concentrating, like he was on a roller coaster holding on for dear life. But then, suddenly, instead of exploding into grateful orgasm like I hoped he would, Brian let out a high-pitched yelp like a wounded puppy and pulled away from me on the bed. "I gotta use the bathroom," he mumbled in an unsteady voice. 5 full minutes passed with me wondering what was wrong, wondering if he still liked me. This beautiful, strong man had tears in his eyes when he showed me what I had done. Then I was in my car, sobbing uncontrollably all over my steering wheel. I knew I would never find out if he was the one, because after the way I hurt him, even though I thought I was doing everything right, I knew he would never even want to see me again. That night I lay in bed trying not to text him, trying not to apologize again. I wanted to explain that I wasn't some man-hating, penis-destroying monster, that I really thought I was doing it right because every boyfriend I had said they loved my hand jobs. I wanted to explain and beg him for a second date when I knew he would never want to see me, never mind touch me again. I tossed and turned all night thinking about him telling his friends about the girl who destroyed his dick. Thinking about how I'd never have a chance to feel that connection I'd felt building between us again. Lying there, staring at the cracks in the ceiling, feeling embarrassed and ashamed and confused, I knew I could do one of 3 things. 1, I could ignore that this ever happened, bury my head in the sand, pretend Brian was weird, and that I didn't give horrible handjobs after all. 2, I could give up and become one of those women that has a panic attack at the idea of touching a guy because I'm so scared of doing it wrong. Or who thinks because I don't naturally know how to touch a man, it means there's something wrong with me as a woman. Or I could make the choice I did. The choice to discover the truth about handjobs men have been petrified to tell women for centuries. The truth about men's bodies. The truth about how to truly sexually please a man. The truth about why men grit their teeth and say, "That feels great," to women when inside they are screaming in agony and begging you to stop. I fired up my laptop the next day, excited at what I was going to learn. But quickly, I got frustrated and then angry. All over the internet, all I found was a mix of half-baked advice about using plenty of lube and forums full of angry guys describing the brutal, awful, painful handjobs they'd gotten from woman after woman after woman. Women just like me who had no idea what it felt like. It's not like I have a dick of my own. and no idea we were doing such a bad job because these men were so terrified to tell us. I asked one guy named Larry I was chatting with why guys don't just use their words and say something. Why did James, Nick, Michael, all my ex-boyfriends lie to me and let me believe I gave great handjobs? And Larry just laughed at me. Cassidy, he said like he was explaining gravity to a child. Your ex-boyfriends lied to you because they knew, just like every woman, if they said anything, you would make it all about you. Every guy knows if we ever tell you the truth about how awful most women are at giving handjobs, you would freak out, feel awful about yourself, and probably never touch our dicks again. So us guys, we just suffer and joke about it, because pretending to enjoy a bad handjob is still better than watching you cry and being forced into celibacy. I felt nauseous when I saw Larry's words on my screen. Nauseous and defiant. And I decided right then and there, if guys were too scared to tell us the truth, I'd be the woman to go on a mission to discover it for myself. The next few months were a rush of revelations as I became a handjob detective. I studied the male anatomy, the different parts of the penis, why some parts are more sensitive on some guys than others, and how to secretly test a man to see exactly how much pressure he really likes. I watched handjob videos from popular porn stars and analyzed and broke down every stroke and technique, and discovered very quickly that every guy is different and that trying to use the exact same technique with every guy was a formula for failure. Through a forum, I tracked down a gay handjob king referred to as Magic Fingers. He taught me things about male pleasure I can't even talk about in this video. But I promise you, they brought a blush to my cheeks and made me understand what it's sexually like to be a man in a way I never thought possible before. I was scared out of my mind to do it, but I even went to an Asian massage parlor, one of the places that specialize in happy endings. Jenny was confused when she saw a woman sitting fully clothed on her massage table, but she was only happy to teach me the guaranteed 2-minute orgasm trick when I pulled a rigid cucumber out of my purse. I studied the Kama Sutra and other ancient erotic texts, looking for every ounce of knowledge women have discovered on how to pleasure a man. I even booked time with a prostate doctor so he could teach me with medical precision what it feels like to have a penis and exactly how sensitive every piece of a man really is. And then, with all this jumbling around in my brain, I started writing. I sat down at my laptop and boiled everything I'd learned and discovered into 27 powerful tricks and techniques that would drive even the most stoic man absolutely wild with pleasure and lust. Thumbing through the finished file, I felt a heat through my whole body, my cheeks flushed with pride. I'd done it. I'd done what no woman had ever done before. I created the holy grail of handjobs. I created this incredible guidebook to the softest part of a man, a guidebook I wished my mom had passed on to me when I graduated high school. And then I called Brian. He was understandably reluctant at first, scared. But after I explained what I had been up to the last few months, he gave me a second chance. He shuddered when I put my hands down his pants, steeling himself for the pain. But then I used the fluttering dove technique I'd learned at the massage parlor and smiled with glee as all the tension drained out of his face. His eyes closed, and a deep, satisfied smile spread across his lips. Over the next hour, I used everything I had learned to apologize to Brian the best way I knew, by introducing him unimaginable male ecstasy. I pushed him past his comfort zone, introduced him to what male multiple orgasms really feel like, teased and toyed with him, knowing with absolute certainty that what I was doing was the right thing, and I felt something I'd never truly felt with any man before. Pure, feminine, sexual power. When I was finished, he lay there so soft and present and relaxed, and looked at me with something I'd always wished I could see in a man's eyes: worship, devotion. And then he pulled my lips to his, whispered thank you again and again between kisses. And I realized if I wanted it, I'd be getting the chance to find out if he's the one after all. As our relationship and our love grew, I realized I'd discovered something more than just how to give a man pleasure. My mom once told me that women need to feel connected to have sex and men need to have sex to feel connected. And for the first time, I realized how right she was. Learning these secrets had made Brian addicted to me, willing to do anything and everything to make me happy. At first, I didn't think it was a big deal when I started sharing my little handjob handbook with my friends. But pretty quickly, things got out of control. My sister Brenda swore by the tantalizing twister. My ex-roommate Allie discovered her man was a Mr. Spock technique kind of guy. My best friend Sarah is an overachiever. She memorized every technique. Her husband Mark ended up giving up masturbating and porn because he said, every time I try to jerk off, all I can think about is how much better she is at this than I am. My neighbor Lisa was pregnant and terrified her hubby didn't find her sexually attractive anymore. She used the tip swirl to keep him happy and satisfied and eagerly going out to get her ice cream no matter how hormonal the pregnancy made her. And then things got a little bit crazy. I achieved this weird cult status locally. Friends, family, 22-year-old girls to 70-year-old recent divorcees to my mom, who I refused to talk to about any of this stuff, started to use my techniques and raved about how attentive and devoted the men in their lives became this simple way. Somewhere along the way, what I was teaching all these women got the name stroke of genius, and it kind of stuck. Because that's what it is, a simple way to make any woman, no matter how conservative, no matter how inexperienced, and no matter how shy, into a hand-job genius, able to truly satisfy any man without ever having to take off her clothes. Which brings us to now, and brings us to you becoming a hand-job genius too. So, are you ready to feel what it's like to be in complete control of a man's pleasure? To be looked at with not just love, but worship? To have this amazing power? To have a man truly be present with you, not in his head, not closing his eyes, not thinking about someone else, but 100% completely focused on you for as long as you want? If you're still watching, we both know the answer is yes, yes, yes. Stroke of Genius is the result of over a year of surprisingly strenuous work, testing, teasing, recruiting friends, interviewing guys, work I did so you don't have to. See, I know handjobs can seem like a silly thing, but they are serious when it comes to you having the sex life and the romantic life you so desperately crave. Why? Because sexually satisfied men are faithful men. Sexually satisfied men are giving men. Sexually satisfied men are romantic men. And after months and months of work testing this stuff in my own life, giving it to women from 18 to 80, and hearing their amazing, passionate, raving reviews, it's time for you to finally experience this confidence and power for yourself. Here's exactly what you're going to learn and how your life is going to transform when I give you access to Stroke of Genius today. First, I'll teach you the 6 secret phases of an incredible handjob that all men instinctively know, but women can only guess at. These 6 simple steps completely demystify the process of male arousal and release, lay out a roadmap to his guaranteed incredible pleasure and devotion, and give you a sexual superpower. The ability to bring any man to the most intense, growling, roaring, back-arching, toe-curling orgasm of his life in just 2 short minutes. Or, if you're feeling naughty, you'll be able to draw out his pleasure, wide-eyed and astonished gratitude, and agonizing desperation for 2 hours or more, giggling inside as he twitches and writhes at your touch until he looks at you with absolute shock at the absolute control you have over his body. And even though he tries so hard to be quiet, he roars like an animal, arches his back and neck as every muscle in his body spasms, as he collapses bonelessly to the bed or floor, and as he truly gives himself to a woman, gives himself to you, for the first time in his life. Is your man spending more time with porn or masturbation than he is experiencing erotic reality with you? I'll teach you the masturbation escape plan method to make even the biggest porn addict decide to give up pleasuring himself forever, because he simply can't give himself 1/1000th the pleasure he gets from you no matter how hard he tries. What if he won't let you give him a handjob and tries to paw at your pants and have sex with you the moment you touch him? It's not like you can physically hold him there until you're done. But don't worry, you'll make sure he relaxes and gives you control with something much, much stronger than muscle. I call it the hands-off hand-job agreement, and it's a form of contract you'll have him sign. A contract that uses hypnotic language and male psychological triggers to allow him to simply receive pleasure from you while feeling completely psychologically safe for the first time in his life. Then we'll get to the real meat of Stroke of Genius, the most comprehensive collection of tastefully illustrated and explained strokes and handjob techniques ever collected. From tantra to erotic films to ancient methods developed by the Egyptians and the Greeks, you'll learn astonishing new ways to pleasure your man, like the kiss of the fingernails technique, which inspires an instant throbbing erection in seconds while barely touching him at all. Personally, I enjoy quietly using this method when we're out at a party or a restaurant, teasing him through his pants so he has to stand with a coat in front of him and count down the minutes until I take him home and finish the job. Think a man has to be rock hard to be truly aroused? You couldn't be more wrong. In fact, in some cases, not having an erection could be a sign that he's even more turned on. I'll teach you the secret of soft pleasure method and how to have a man twitching and gasping and feeling like his skin is on fire without ever getting remotely hard at all. Next, you'll learn the tantalizing twister, which makes even a tough guy feel like he's been swept up in a tornado and delivered to orgasmic Oz. The tip swirl and exactly how to touch his sensitive glands to build heat and fire through his whole body. The two hands on the wheel technique, not even the toughest man can endure for more than 35 seconds. Though it feels so amazing, I guarantee you he'll try. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I barely have time to tell you about the rub-a-tug method, why most women make a grave mistake by ignoring a man's testicles, and how to gently, or not so gently, pull on his balls with the perfect amount of pressure, immediately tripling his pleasure. Okay. A lot of women are squeamish at first about this next part. I know I was. But I promise you the look on his face when you use it will be 100% worth it. Because I'll teach you how to use the prostate percolator to rub and tease his prostate, introducing him to new levels of masculine pleasure without ever having to even think about touching his butt. Does your guy have a problem with premature ejaculation? With the scaling the mountain method, you'll instantly hit the pause button on his orgasm and giggle with glee as his penis twitches and seems to almost reach for your suddenly absent hand. The first time I used this with my guy, I found myself giggling uncontrollably as he started to pulse and twitch, and my man said, "Cassidy, I hate you," through gritted teeth and a loving smile. Did you know that men can have multiple orgasms too? You'll use the accordion technique to give him a non-ejaculatory mini orgasm. Plus, I'll show you how to compound and build these small explosions until he's exhausted, covered in sweat, and cuddling up to you like a very satisfied and well-fed alpha wolf, even though he didn't come at all. Incredible. Always wished he wanted you to do more than just touch his dick. I was always frustrated that so many guys don't understand sensuality, which is why I was so excited when I discovered the full body handjob method, which allows you to hypnotically convince him that his whole body is an extension of his penis. You won't believe the pleasure and control you can have over a man just by tickling his elbow once you know this simple trick. With so many techniques and so many ways to play with your man, you'll want him to stay hard for a long time, which is why I'm going to give you the piano man technique, which allows you to use a particular rhythmic pattern with your fingers to bring him back to stiff, almost uncomfortable hardness in seconds, so you can play with your favorite toy as long as you want. And it's crazy, I know, but I still haven't even mentioned the advanced techniques, methods, and strokes like the fire starter, which builds erotic heat deep in his belly and multiplies the intensity of his orgasm. The Victoria's Secret handjob and how to make him psychologically addicted to you using your bra. The nook and cranny method that has brought hundreds of men to tears and guarantees he'll cast you in every erotic fantasy he has for the rest of his life, even if you never see him again. Warning, the nook and cranny method requires incredible willpower on your part. Only use this technique if you know you can keep control of yourself, or if you're ready and eager to turn a handjob into full-on sex. The Spock technique, that provides an almost alien sensation he simply never felt before and could never figure out how to do to himself. The no-hands handjob. I know it sounds weird, but you'll know just how powerful this is when you see the desperate need in his eyes, and much, much more. Stroke of Genius, the Ultimate Handjob Handbook, is the definitive guide on mastering a man's most private parts. Okay, can you feel that? Your heart pounding in your chest, the dryness in your mouth, the tantalizing heat pulsing through your body, the incredible desire to know this, to be able to do this to your man, to any man you choose, to have this power, to have that special man truly addicted to you, mind, body, and soul, to have him so grateful that he begs to please you and give you the attention and pleasure you have yearned for years. So here's a question. Being honest with yourself, how much is it worth to you to have everything I just talked about at the tip of your fingers, to give him such overwhelming, earth-shattering pleasure that he suddenly starts thinking of his penis as your penis, because you are the only woman who can make him feel like this? How much is it worth to truly own his sexuality and desire? How much is it worth to know you can fix almost any problem that comes into your relationship with just a simple twist of your fingers? I don't want to bring you down here, but I see so many women every day in misery because they've been fed a lie about men and sex. Women who live a life of boring sex and lame imitations of passion. They drag their boyfriends or husbands to couples counseling, which costs thousands of dollars, does absolutely nothing to give you the attention and connection and pleasure you deserve. Or women who complain about being alone, or who live in constant fear of being cheated on, whose anxiety and lack of belief in your sexual abilities just pushes men away. The fact is, the happiest, most satisfied women in the world are the ones who learn these incredible sexual skills and use them to create profound desire, addiction, and connection with a man, where he thinks about you all day, fantasizes about ways to please you, and would rather castrate himself than even think about being with another woman. Women who know the best way to a man's heart is not through his stomach. It's through the zipper in his pants. So think about that for a second. Keeping that solid in your head, what do you think would be a fair price for Stroke of Genius, the Ultimate Handjob Handbook? If you're being completely honest, I bet you'd say that $297 or more would be totally fair to discover this sexual superpower within yourself. Heck, I bet you'd think that was cheap to never have to wonder if you're doing it wrong or if he's really enjoying himself again. But I'm a woman like you. A woman who has spent her whole life looking for the one and yearning for that true love and connection. And I know even when you want something so much and know it's a total steal at the price you're paying, as a woman, sometimes you just can't give yourself what you need. Which is why I'm going to do something kind of risky here. Not a risk to you, but a big risk to me. See, my mission in life is to help regular women like you and me truly experience feminine power. And if I have to take a hit to my pocketbook to accomplish that mission, that's just the way it is. So because you've given me some of your precious time, I'm not going to ask you to pay $297. I'm not going to ask you to invest $197. Heck, I'm not even going to ask you to invest $97, even though we both know it would be a steal at that price. Nope. If you take action right now, I'll take 62% off that very reasonable price. Simply click the button below and you'll get the complete Stroke of Genius program for the discounted price of just $37. Immediate action discount. But you have to act right now. I know what it's like to hem and haw and think about it, but I honestly don't know if I should keep selling a system this robust and this powerful for $37. See, a lot of women have told me that $37 is just too cheap, that giving away so much insight into the minds and bodies of men for such a cheap price is kind of idiotic. If you're still seeing this page, it means I'm sticking to my guns. But it's totally possible I'll decide I have to raise the price. So if you come back and suddenly Stroke of Genius is only available for $97, please don't write me begging for the lower price. If you pass it up now, there's just nothing I can do for you. It just wouldn't be fair. And just to take away every excuse you might have not to give this to yourself, I'm going to back everything I've set up with a truly astonishing guarantee. Here's how it works. Just get in the Stroke of Genius, the Ultimate Handjob Handbook right now. Use the material. It's all step-by-step and so simple to follow, especially the illustrations and insight from real men. Feel the intoxicating erotic power for yourself. If you don't think the program is worth at least double what you're paying today, just contact my customer service at support@digitalromanceinc.com anytime in the next 60 days, and you'll get every dime back as fast as we can. Why am I being so generous? Because I want this for you. I want you to experience this incredible power and pleasure and connection. I want you to feel what it's like to see your man shocked and satisfied and saying the most sincere and worshipful thank you you've ever heard. And if I have to put myself out there a bit to help you, I'll gladly do just that. And all you have to do is click the button below. Okay, if you're not convinced yet, let me do one more thing to knock you off the log. I want to make this easy for you. I want you to feel all the way deep in your bones that you're getting an incredible deal that you can be proud of. That's why I've got 3 very special presents for you just for saying yes to Stroke of Genius today. First, I want to flat out give you my 50 Intimacy Ideas program. 50 tried and tested techniques that almost force your man to almost instantly open up, share his deepest secrets with you, and connect with you in a way you've always dreamed of but thought was impossible. I know the world of sex toys can be more than a little frightening at first, which is why your next gift is my Naughty Girls Toy Chest program, which opens up a whole new world of pleasure to even the most innocent woman. Your third present is something a bit shocking. In fact, I can't give this to everyone, but if you act right now, you'll get the hand job interviews. If you've ever wished you could be a fly on the wall and hear what guys talk about when they think women aren't listening, you will love this. As a part of my research, I gathered 6 men in a room and convinced them to finally tell the absolute truth about what they like, what they hate, and the exact sexual techniques that make them fall head over heels for a woman, even if they didn't think she was girlfriend material before. Important. These interviews are raw and unedited. But if you want to know the actual truth about men and sex, they will change your life forever. So let's add this all up, just so you can see for yourself what a great deal you're getting. With your special discount, you'll get the complete Stroke of Genius program with tasteful illustration showing you exactly what to do for just $37. We already agreed that Stroke of Genius is worth at least $97 by itself, so that's already a pretty great deal. But then you're also getting 50 Intimacy Ideas, the Naughty Girls Toy Chest, and the astonishing hand job interviews. You can't get these special gifts anywhere but right here. But if you could, they'd probably sell for $97 or more by themselves, too. If you were checking out at the supermarket, that would all add up to $388. But using your special discount, you'll get everything for just $37. I don't know about you, but if I was at the store and got $400 worth of stuff for less than $40, I'd feel like I won the lottery. All you have to do to take advantage of this amazing deal is click the big button below this video right now. Then fill out your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on the next page. Once you do that, you'll get instant access to the program, so you can access Stroke of Genius on your phone, tablet, or computer anywhere you want, anytime you need it. Click the button below right now. Pay your discounted enrollment fee. Devour the program and learn the secrets to keeping your man happy and satisfied. Use these incredible tricks and techniques to give him astonishing pleasure beyond what he could ever imagine before. Feel what it's like to have a man truly addicted to you. Experience how much fun you can have with a man and feel all the stress of not being sexy or not doing it right drain away like water. Feel a level of sexy confidence that fills every cell of your body. You're going to be amazed at the change in your life once you learn this. How you walk around feeling so much more sexually confident, even if you're not 22 anymore. How any guy who feels your hands on him becomes absolutely enraptured by you, infatuated with you, feeling something so very close to love and even worship for you from your very first stroke. If you're like most women, you're going to have a hard time wiping that goofy smile off your face or keeping the joyous sparkle out of your eyes. Okay, it's time to take action. You're at a crossroads right now, and you really just have two very different options, leading to two very different lives. Option 1 is to leave this page without enrolling in the program. I think you already know what will happen if you do this. That heavy feeling in your heart, that sense you made a mistake, didn't take an opportunity you wanted so much, that widening gap between you and men. You don't want that, which is why you should seriously consider taking road number 2. Just say yes right now. Click the button, enter your payment information right now before life gets in the way, and grab the Stroke of Genius program. Get everything I've talked about in this video. Learn how to create an incredible emotional and sexual connection with a man in this astonishingly powerful and simple way. With my 60-day guarantee, you're risking nothing. And with this special discount, you're getting over 60% off. Let me leave you with one final lesson. Do you know what men find irresistibly attractive in women? Decisiveness. The ability to see something you want, and you can feel you want this so much, and go after it. If you feel like there's a canyon between you and men, if you aren't getting your emotional and physical needs so much more than met, just make a tiny, easy decision right now. I've unlocked the door. All you have to do is walk through it. I hope you understand that I've stacked the deck so much in your favor that you can't lose. Actually, there is one way you can lose, by walking away from this wonderful opportunity. But you've suffered and craved real passion long enough. Just click the button below. I personally promise you'll be happy you did. Again, I'm Cassidy Lyon, and I can't wait to hear about your success.